Good afternoon. It is Trice, and welcome to the studio. And today I'll be talking a little bit about merch. I wanted to take some time to talk about merch and specifically how you can make money with your podcast because it's important when you're first starting off. You might not always have the endorsements that you're looking for. You might be looking for a real tangible way to add money into your podcast. Um, right from where you're starting, and merch is a good way, and it gives you a great practice for personal endorsement. So I'll talk about that a little bit here. I am a proud Printful affiliate. So I'll always be talking about their platform. I use it on the shows that I manage and that I produce. For all of our merch, it's a completely seamless walkthrough way of doing it nowadays, and I'll show you how to do it. But starting off first here, I want to talk about like why are we talking about merch? And that graphic is a little bit small, but I'll read it for you. It says one T-shirt is the equivalent to 5,000 streams on Spotify. 70% of all music in 2019 is streamed and not bought physically or digitally. Band merchandise is the most direct way of supporting an artist. And that's the way I want you to craft the message to your podcast listeners. Hey, streams don't make me that much money, to be honest. And merch is a great way to show that you love to show that you love the show physically, but also the money that goes into it actually supports the way that this show is run. And right here to the right, I've got a picture of Joe Rogan because he's the number one podcaster in the world right now with 190 million streams a week. 190 million streams a week. And he still has a merch store. And the reason that he still has a merch store is because people want to be fans. They want to support your show, and you should offer them the option to do that in so many different ways. Think about the thousands of dollars that Joe Rogan might not have captured if he did not have a merch store to go along with his podcast. Now, with 190 million streams a week, you really don't need money from merch stores. But he's made millions of dollars off of it in different brand partnerships that he has. Even though he's making a ton of money on endorsements already. So just wanted to let you know the best in the game right now still has a merch store. So you should figure out a way to incorporate it into your podcast mix as well. How we're doing it. Now, this is a quick 30-minute talk that I'm having about Printful and getting merch started. So I won't be going step by step with you, but I promise you it's very easy. If you can set up your iPhone just from the start screen all the way to when the icons come on, then you're good there. But the specific way that I want to talk about is Printful, creating a free account with Printful. They're free. And then creating a free Square account. Now, Square has been around for forever helping small business owners with invoicing, with marketing. They have a debit card now. They did some financing and PPP things. Like, it's really a one-stop shop for small businesses. And back in 2018, they actually bought Weebly. If you remember, in the Squarespaces of the world and all those websites, really platforms to build your websites were really taking off. Weebly was one of the leaders as well. In my opinion, they really didn't do e-commerce too well at that time. But Square actually bought Weebly, and now their e-commerce platform is right in the Square dashboard, which means that if you have a Square account, you can set up a free website. It'll say Powered by Square at the bottom, but that's okay. But you can have a free website to host your merch store, but also just to host any of the things that you'll need for your business. So I'm going to run over that again. Printful is free. Okay. Square is free. And Weebly is right inside of Square, which creates your merch store. So everything that I'm talking about is a completely free solution. That's important because when you're first starting out, you might not want to invest a ton of money into it, as well as, until you get your merch started and really, promoting it and all that, it might be a little tough to buy in bulk and do all of that. So Printful is a print-on-demand solution, which means that they do not make the merchandise until people buy it. That's important for you because back in the day, I started a headwear brand. It's called Talented and Tatted, for anybody who remembers. I think this was 2013. It had to be 2013. But what I did was a bunch of my friends were doing fashion and design from Purdue. They had this little business program or whatever. But anyway, they made a lot of connections with manufacturers over in China. So what I did was I did my designs, I digitized them, and then I just bought them in bulk. Okay. I had probably like 200 hats per SKU. I had like 3 SKUs. So I got a ton of hats at my house. And I had a Shopify store. And people were buying them consistently, but then I would have to package them up. I would have to, get them there. I was carrying them around in my car. I was taking them to my shows. This is a part of my DJ life. I've been selling merch for a really long time. And I mean, years later, we just moved out of our house last year and there were still hats in my house. I was like, oh my God, where are these hats coming from? How can I stop these hats from being around? So I'll always discourage you from buying in bulk unless the demand is already there. Or if you're going to give them away as like tickets to a live event or conference or something like that. If it's already sold and you know somebody's going to buy it, then do that route. But the print on demand way is a really great way for people who are consultants on the go, don't major in merch, but need their business to have a merch component to run. So that's my spiel on why I'm saying don't buy in bulk, caution sign. And if you are... if you buy the course Finding Profit in Podcasting, that's the first thing I say in the merch section. It's like caution sign. Do not buy in bulk. You're going to think it's easier to sell it all, and you don't have to do that anymore with print on demand and Printful. All right, moving forward. After you set up your store, which takes less than an hour, I think it takes like 30 minutes if you've got your graphics and all that, like a logo and all that to do, record a 60-second ad of you promoting your merch. So I've got on a What the Pod sweatshirt. I could say in my advertisement, hey guys, taking a quick break from the podcast. This is Trice. I'm here to tell you about my awesome merch store that's just on my website. If you click the show notes, there's a link there. I've got sweatshirts. I've got hoodies. You can rep What the Pod at the workplace, at the gym, really make it so that people want to buy this. And they know inside of the ad, make sure that you say, this show is brought to you by viewers like you. We're going back to viewers and listeners like you, going back to the PBS days of it all, where they let you know that if you support it, it was going to more of this kind of programming. And that's the messaging that's really effective with selling merch for your podcast, but for also acquiring fans, because sometimes people might not listen every single week and they might not give you that download, but they might, buy a couple t-shirts, buy a mug, something like that. And that really helps your show out as well, because as people see that, the brand becomes more known. And then people are asking them about it. Hey, what's this sweatshirt? People ask me all the time. I'm walking down the street and I'm like, hey, it's actually my podcast. And then I have a little QR code on my business card so that they can subscribe to my show. That's the name of the game. So once you get the store created, step 2 is record a quick 60-second ad of yourself promoting your merch so that you can drop it into your podcast. And when I say drop it into your podcast, drop it into every single episode. You can put it in the middle as like a mid-roll, or at the end. I would suggest, to be most effective, put it as a mid-roll and a post-roll, because a lot of people don't make it to the end. But if they do make it to the end, they've heard it twice, they feel more compelled about it. That's the radio side of me telling you about the frequency. The more people hear stuff, the more they get clues that maybe it's something that they should try. So I will put it as a mid-roll and a post-roll. A pre-roll it works. There's just been there hasn't been great, strong data that's linked to purchasing decisions with a pre-roll. They might know you have a merch store, but if they listen until the middle, they're probably a fan, an Allegiant fan, and they would actually go and make that purchase. So let's break down the numbers here. This is a little bundle that I put together from my merch store, and it's a mug. This is a new design that I'm coming out with. Oh, the possibilities. Like, I love it. Like, I could think of a million of them a week and just throw them up on the store, which is another great thing about it. So I've got a mug on there. I've got a tank top, and I've got a dad hat, which I love to wear. And I'll continue to wear because I want to own a headwear line at some point in my life, circling back on that failed business of my 20s. But the 3 of those things would cost the customer $57.50. Printful would actually charge you $37.02 to make it, ship it, do everything, including the returns and all of that drama. So your profit for that order would be $20.48. So if you can, on average, get an order for $20, just to profit $20. If you multiply that by 100 orders, which would be 10% of 1,000 monthly listeners. So if you can convince 10% of the people who listen to your podcast to place an order and you profit $20, that's a $2,000 profit. You can get that done in a month. If you have 4 episodes and 100 people buy something from the 4 episodes, that's $2,000 that you just added into your show. Let's multiply that out a little bit more for the 20,000 listeners, since that's what everybody's going for. That's when your monetization takes off. With the studio. You'll be getting a lot more notoriety, public notoriety at 20,000 listens. More people will know about your show. So that same $20 order times 10% of those listeners, which would be 2,000 orders, that's $40,000. Listen, just off of merch, you could make a salary. And these are people who were already listening to your podcast. You're just now telling them about your merch and imploring them to make a purchase. That's it. That's all. You right here on the right side is someone who bought one of my What the Pod tumblers. She's a coffee owner, a local coffee owner here in LA, and we see her at the farmer's market. Her name's Kat. So we've made friends over the times. I buy her coffee. She listens to my podcast. So she bought this What the Pod tumbler for her coffee and then poured her coffee in it. And we had this like cross brand thing, which is awesome and organic because I go to the farmer's market every week. I walk a mile to go to the farmer's market to get my groceries and then I walk back. It's my thing. She knows that. We have that relationship every week. I see her and her husband. I know their family. She's spreading my message of my podcast. She's spreading the message of, hey, if you want a podcast, you should probably talk to Trice. That's just one fan, but she talks to so many people. She has one day I walked up and my tumbler was sitting right there at the front. You just create more opportunities for yourself when you have merch to supplement your shows. So that's all I've got for merch madness right now. If you have any questions, you can always drop them below. This process is meant to be simple, quick, and easy. Simple, quick, and easy. I promise you, I don't want to make it hard. I don't want you to make it hard because it's meant to run in the background. You shouldn't have to look at your merch store every week. You should get emails to let you know that you've got sales and when you'll be paid out. All of the shipping, the printing, and everything is done for you. So this week, I challenge you to just at least get in there, feel around for Printful, look at some cool things that they've got for back to school. And I'll be doing another presentation for Printful on a public forum to just talk about some things that they've got going on back to school and how you can actually theme your episodes around different merch pieces to get more people to listen to your show, but also to make some money. So thank you for taking this time out with me to talk a little bit more about merch. I'll be having tons more of little talks like this. Comment below. I'm always here if you need me, and have a great Sunday.